Greetings and Happy New Year to you from me, Blair Johnson, here at the Badass Records Podcast. And I wanted to say how thrilled I am to have assembled my 100th episode. And I'd like to take this opportunity to give thanks to all of you that have been guests, that have been helpful, that have subscribed and followed and liked. Looking forward to the next 100 episodes, hoping that you will be a part of it if you haven't already. Cheers and thank you.
I am too.
Stoked to be hanging out with Jessica Johnson for episode 100 of the Badass Records Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We are, there's a lot of things I think about after the fact. Sometimes it's like way, way, way down, and a random thought will just pop in my head about a piece of a conversation I had with somebody, and it's like, oh, that probably didn't make sense to anybody that heard it because I didn't explain it. A lot of things I just
spit out.
Yeah, well, I just don't mention. So anyway, we are siblings.
Oh, right. Yes.
Raised in different homes, and
oldest and youngest.
Right.
We're
December.
Like older brother, younger brother.
December.
Kids, cool dance moves.
Right. December birthday buddies, and I was thinking about what our conversation was going to look like, and I don't know if you checked out any of Tiff's episode, which was 15, which feels like, many moons ago.
But that doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
I mean, what, 5/14/22? Like,
yeah. When was Leah's?
She's behind the lamp right there. 55.
Twibs, got her.
Yeah, and actually, so what was the date of hers?
1/28/23. Is it picking me up when I'm turned away from it enough?
It's fine. 1/28/23, and then it was like, I forget the run, but it was, like 30 plus, maybe 40 episodes before I had a female in the room again.
After Leah?
Yeah, it was just like, and I think it occurred to me a handful of episodes after hers. It was just like, God damn, there's so many dudes, and then it became so many dudes that like. The first time that I had a gal in the chair again, who I haven't seen, I don't think, since high school. She thinks we saw each other at a function, but she's always been very cool and very cute. Mm-hmm. Immediately married after high school, has grown kids, etc. It says still married. But I was like doubly dipped and anxious because it's just been dude after dude after dude, and then it was a cute girl. Yeah. And so I'm like talking, and then didn't hit record on her camera.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to help you with that.
No, there was no helping of any kind whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
no footage to look at the cute girl either.
Yeah. That's also true. She's like a professional photographer. So I did end up plastering her episode with the video portion of it with lots of pictures that she has taken and shared to Instagram. So.
Gotcha.
Anyway, and then of late I've had, kind of a run of gals. So it's just, you never know. Life is like a box of chocolates. But in Tiffany's episode, we talked about memory. Mm-hmm. And I bring it up often because it's so mesmerizing and bewildering and confusing to me to think about just, forever until recently. I was this number of years old and this many months and this many days when my parents got divorced. And then at some point I stopped and thought about it, and it's like, I actually don't fucking have any idea.
You didn't?
No, because it's like I'm
not that you have to.
But just to have somehow this fact got inserted.
Say, you're always so certain that you know
and I
those
just
things.
carried it for 4 decades until I stopped to think about it. And it's like, Actually, I don't know. Anyway, and so you start to run an inventory. Like, how many other things did I
Yeah.
think I was certain on? And then it was like, oh, I could be way off. Anyway, and then like I read a thing that said every time you remember a memory, that then becomes your memory, and the previous version of it is like deleted from the hard drive, so to speak.
Your database. Your
Yeah,
database.
the I washed the when I was putting away my presents. I washed that and put it away, and so that one has a
Chuckling the whole
big
time.
font. It's like right there, and I was like, I'm probably gonna get a lot of good chuckles out of this. But anyway, isn't that just bizarre to think that like
Because it seems like it's just a recall and it's like refreshing your thought of it, not that it's like taking its place.
Yeah.
And then does that like alter your awareness of like what the actual physical date of the memory was?
well, and then it's like you get in this cloud, and I'm like, okay, so how many actual memories did I like hardwire in, and how many did I think were memories because of flipping through photo albums and listening to stories? And it's like, fuck, I don't know anything, actually, it turns out. I had this whole like lens of looking through the world and thinking about the world and just, you know, indisputable. And then it's like, I'm not sure about
I got nothing.
anything. So I got down that little mental rabbit hole thinking about, you're born on Bradshaw, right? The
No, there was some
was there a
like a condo or apartment that they lived
the
in.
condo? Yes.
I was born there,
Okay.
but I think they were like they moved like a
They-
few weeks later.
Yeah, and that was the pipes. Remember? Do you know this story?
Sounds familiar.
So the pipes burst in Bradshaw before they occupied it,
Oh, fun.
and I mean, like I think days of just water.
Lovely.
Yeah, so they had to come in and like rip out entire floor. I mean, it was like, not that buying a house isn't already expensive, and then and by the way, we have a tiny child and a newborn.
Yeah, I feel like Mom would have to validate it, but I want to say I was weeks old.
Yeah,
maybe a month or two. But
okay. I was, once again, like I think at some point I decided that there was like a 10-day umbrella, and it was
Could've been.
like,
it really
you're
could've been.
born, pipes burst, they're moving, and it all, and of course he was probably working 2 jobs.
Was he at that time? Because I think he was just at Celebrity China then, right? He wasn't doing exterminating yet.
No, but I mean, he, like at Bradshaw, like he worked at a liquor store. He
remember
worked sports, like that KU trash can. Some pennants.
That new thing?
Yeah, some pennants. Like a whole handful of. A lot of it's in my baseball trunk, on the other side of that wall. You know what one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I acquired a big chunk of sports bar memorabilia because he was working at a place and it closed. Anyway, it's
I
just,
mean, I wasn't forming memories then, so I
Right.
would have known, but I
So-
don't even remember that being talked about.
you watched the Wonder Years a little bit, right? So the intro where it's like the
Yeah.
black and white, fast forwardy feeling
Yeah.
film.
Like crackly with like the
And
dots and spots.
and there's a football and Winnie,
Yeah.
and so it all just kind of becomes that, and it's like it flashes by. You're like, I wanted to look at one of those and to verify what the memory is, and so I'm having that kind of moment thinking about this, and I get the video footage of I'm scared of Scotty.
Yeah, Mom threw that one at me recently when I said something about, like, I don't know, I'm not scared of dogs. And she was like, you were scared of Scotty. I was like, damn it, yes, you're
So
correct.
it's like there's that, and then Jarbo has got to be the bulk of where your stuff
Oh, for sure. I
is
mean,
stored, right?
I don't think I have any actual memories except this, like, Snoopy curtain in my room at Bradshaw. I don't think I have any actual memories that aren't from photos.
Okay.
Like, that's the only
Yeah.
one that feels like it lives here
Okay.
and not like it lives in a
Interesting.
picture.
Um.
And then, yeah, I think I was 3 when we moved to Jarbo.
Okay. Yeah, so like Columbia, 0 to 3, born to 3 for me.
Oh yeah. No.
All I ever heard about was feeding the ducks and taking pots and pans out of the cabinet. And then if you go to my baby book, like there's pictures of those. That's all. That's it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what? Do you guys actually remember that, or is it
Yeah.
because you took these and put them in? Anyway,
Yeah, it had to be 3 because I did ECLC at St. Peter's for 2 years, so, and I would have been kindergarten at 5, so like
wow.
I had to have been 3.
I guess. Well,
I think I did too. I'm almost positive I did 2
well,
years.
so at that point, at the time, and what December 11th, 1983, on the day that you enter the world, who in the family is a parishioner at St. Peter's? Dale and Marianne,
Dale and Marianne would have been, yes.
Grandpa and
Grandpa and
Grandma.
Grandma. And then,
I mean, all 3 Beck boys went there, right?
right. And I think, like, from Dad's side of the family, like, I mean, they weren't necessarily active parishioners when we moved back to the Waldo area, but if I remember correctly, because we're 77th and Jarbo, so we should have been St. Elizabeth's.
I mean, and Christ the King's right there too.
Yeah, but St. Elizabeth's would have been the one that made more sense.
Right.
And there was something with the age for Megan with her summer birthday and the cutoff for kindergarten.
That was different between St. E's and St. Peter's? They're under the same umbrella of rules.
I don't know.
Wow.
It was something of just like 1 month versus another. So I'm pretty sure that's it. I guess maybe it could have been that St. E's was full, but I don't know why I would have this memory of the date part of it.
I bet that there was like, okay, here's where we're going to live. St. E's is right there. However, we already have like a bunch of ties to St.
Maybe,
Peter's, and
maybe.
that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I don't know if it was in that, only because I don't know if that's like an option for you to just pick the school outside of your area because you want it. Like a lot of people would do that. If
There's
you wanted to.
lines, but
Yeah.
people get exceptions all the time.
Yeah, so I don't really know what the reasoning was, but for whatever reason, if it was capacity or Megan's age with the summer birthday, because you know that July birthday
Yeah,
is a hard one.
yeah.
I want to say St. E's had like a different cutoff expectation. And so that's how we ended up St. Peter's.
That's weird.
But yeah, I did ECLC 2 years in a row.
So, I mean, what a wild. I mean, that Bradshaw house was dope. No. I mean, the treehouse, nice backyard, swing set, patio with picnic
I
table.
feel
And
like I have a little bit of memory of the treehouse because
Okay.
I don't think I've seen pictures of it, but I can see it in my head. So like I feel like, I mean, it was probably like you guys being like, "Can't come in,"
Yeah, right,
slamming the
yeah.
door. But I was also little, so I
Yeah.
probably wasn't even necessarily allowed to go up there much. I mean, you know how Mom is. She probably was like, "Absolutely not. Like,
Right.
don't
it was
put a cage around Jessica."
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, so you go in the front door of Bradshaw, and there's this huge
Living room.
playroom, whatever. I think. I mean,
It was supposed to be a formal living room, but they didn't
Okay.
have enough furniture to fill it.
right.
So we like the living space was that den.
Yes.
And they just let it be like playpen and kids play area.
Yeah.
Which was awesome for us.
Yes. Decent, nice sized kitchen. And was there anything to the right?
I think there was a dining room, but I don't really remember it. I think it was like, wasn't it like, it was like to the right is dining room, to the left is big
Probably.
living room, den's back here, kitchen's back here.
Yeah.
Didn't the hallway go through the middle?
Yeah, it's what, but yeah.
Did the hallway go through and the stairs went up sideways from the hallway? Okay. See,
yeah.
I think I have some
Yeah.
memories. Because nobody's taking pictures of the stairway.
No.
Like, I wouldn't remember that without it being in my brain.
So, top of the stairs to the left,
Oh,
all
upstairs
master.
I got nothing.
Oh, for real?
I got nothing upstairs.
Wow. Okay, so the whole
Except that Snoopy curtain.
master, and then straight. If you
Did Megan and Tiffany have a window seat?
they did.
Okay.
They did.
There's my 2 memories from upstairs.
So straight ahead. I mean, it's not like straight ahead, but just a few steps, and then straight. Like if you get to the top of the steps and go right, left. Mm-hmm. Baby's room.
Me.
Yes.
Yeah. Did I have a Snoopy curtain?
Well, there's
I think I did.
So-
yellow walls, right?
I don't think so. I know that the dresser was like, like the most basic, like rectangular call it 6-drawer
Yeah.
dresser with round knobs, and it's wood, and like the face of every drawer,
It was a different color. The pastels.
like the most amazing, beautiful, bright colors. Like it, as a kid, I was like, it
I
struck
think
me.
Mom did that because then the bookshelf had the same
Yeah.
thing on each strip
Yeah.
of the bookshelf. That the pastels.
But so
see, here she is years later, still painting.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna get you some paint. What? But so the condo, like,
Condo where I was born.
yes,
Okay.
put together. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before. Maybe not. Just an incredible room for us, and it was like bunk bed and like matching. There were some baseball sheets, some Snoop. That's where the Snoopy sheets were born.
Those are
And
still around.
Cool. I know. I have a set of them.
Oh, nice.
There's this really cool pencil.
I was gonna
lamp.
say, was the pencil lamp?
Yes.
The red pencil lamp.
Yeah, and it was like just it. It was ours.
Yeah.
And well, I don't want to speak for Tiffany, but it was like, man, I can, like, I love you, Dad, and I'm excited to hang out and spend time. But there's something else about having a space that's yours.
Yeah,
at
feeling
that.
like you're included in the overall space. Yeah.
Yes. So then Brad. All right. So, baby, nursery. Megan and Tiffany's room, which eventually would become yours and Megan's room, right?
I mean, I doubt it because we moved out when I was like 3. I mean, if I was 3 going into ECLC, like
Because somebody moved into my room, or maybe some things from I don't. It was
maybe it did happen. I don't know, but I'm going to be your least reliable
Yeah.
source of truth for that
Yeah.
house, especially upstairs.
But it's so just a shock to the system to have that be your home, and then to move to Jarbo and live with Aunt Lil,
yeah,
who was Dad's aunt and our great aunt.
yes. So Dad and Lori Buckley, I think, were cousins.
Okay.
Wanda was Lori's mom. Aunt Lil was Wanda's mom. So I think she would have been Dad's great aunt because I think Wanda was Dad's aunt.
Huh. Okay. Nevertheless,
Am I wrong about
No, I don't know, and I don't think we can verify it right now. But
that's an Elaine question too. But I feel like Wanda seems older than Mom and Dad, but Lori seemed a decent amount younger. So maybe Dad and Wanda were cousins?
but here's what I got from like top of the stairs left, yours and Megan's room, and I picture the
Are we in Jarbo house
yes,
now? Yeah.
the nets
Pet nets.
that held stuffed
stuffed
animals.
animals,
Yeah.
Pet nets in the corner.
And like
Yeah, so this house I got on lock. It's like our room. We got the twin beds with the pet nets, half carpet, half hardwood. Had the long skinny closet. We used to
yeah.
roller skate on the hardwood side of it. And to the right was Mom and Dad's. It had that huge closet.
yes,
It was like the size of a bedroom.
that's where my baseball trunk used to be.
Yeah.
And
then just basic bathroom straight in front at the top of the stairs.
Yep.
And then main floor is where Aunt Lil lived.
Yep.
Until she passed.
Yep.
And then I got the first floor room.
You did?
Yeah.
So that's
The start of me getting the room I wanted.
the sunroom
Sunroom.
and then dining room and but so
Like walked in stairs. I went there a few years ago. It was open for an estate sale, and so I went in. So it was like crazy walking back in time. But yeah, when you walked in, stairs were directly in front of you. Big living room right here, sunroom over there, dining room to your left, kitchen back in the back. And remember, there was like a little breakfast room and then the kitchen.
yes,
And
yes.
then around from the back, you could like go down in the basement, or there was that room back behind the living room with a bathroom, and that was Aunt Lil's room.
Yeah.
in
With
mine.
eventually it had a hospital bed. Mm-hmm. I mean, for a while, Dad was like carrying her upstairs, and until they.
I don't think we ever had her upstairs.
Uh,
I mean, he probably had to like carry her in and out of the house and stuff.
well,
I don't know, but I mean, I remember instances where
I
Dad
feel like
had to
she
like
was-
lift her into the car and stuff.
well, maybe was she ever?
She was never upstairs.
Never. Like
I mean,
when they moved in,
I don't think so because Megan and I never shared that downstairs room.
No, I know, but it's like maybe maybe at first she was only comfortable using that bathroom, and
Maybe.
anyway.
I mean, that could be right because I feel like the shower in that first floor bathroom wasn't very big.
No,
It was
nothing.
like a
Yeah.
stall shower, so maybe he
Yes.
had to take her up and down for showers.
Maybe. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's
Might
a
have really stumbled on our own history there.
right. This is riveting content for all listening. But so like condo, Bradshaw. I'm I'm dialed in a little bit. Like around frequent enough to be sort of logging the roots of memories, and then gone for 3 years to Atlanta,
Oh, right, right, right.
and then come back, and it's like we live with two different friends of Juju's for a
Oh,
bit,
that's right.
which
Oh,
like
the
is
O'Hagans?
the O'Hagans, and then Mary Lou Spink
Gotcha.
for a little bit, which is so again like that's how that has always been described. Yeah, we live with these one friends for summer and these other friends. It's like another way of describing that would be that we were homeless.
But you weren't because you had people that took
we
you
were
in.
we were doing.
Homeless is when you don't.
I know, but like
Homeless is when you don't have those people.
also homeless is when you don't have a home.
I mean, if you want to split hairs, but I'm
Yeah.
still right.
But so it's that, and then she buys 69th Terrace, and now sixth grade for me. Well, I mean, so fifth. We lived with Susie and Mike. We lived with friend group one, friend group two, and then Susie and Mike for like a whole year. And Tiffany and I shared a fold out bed, and I peed in it all the time. And there were beads,
What is it?
strings of beads for a door.
A case of the what? What's the kid's name on Home Alone that pees the bed?
I
The girls were just saying it the other day.
But point being, like now new home, new school again. My sixth and final elementary school.
So you're in sixth grade at this point?
Yes.
So you're 12, 11 or 12?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we must have just been moving from, because you and I are only 8 years apart, so we must have just been moving to Jarbo when you came back.
I thought we were 9. Are we not 9?
Oh, sorry, we're 9. We're 8 for 5 days, and then we're
Right.
9.
Right.
But yeah, still, like, that would have put me at the 3.
But my level of frequency, like under your guys' roof, wherever it is has dropped
Well,
tremendously.
yes, yeah.
And now it's like I don't, I'm fucking Adeline's age, where it's like
Too cool for school.
I'd rather, no matter the occasion,
You
I'd
guys
rather.
were way too cool for us.
Well, and Dad too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. No, I mean, yeah. All of us
so
as an
all of a sudden,
entirety.
it's like I'm dialed in. I mean, Bradshaw. I stuck Megan with a clothespin changing her diaper. The same way Dad did to me when I was a baby.
A safety pin, not a clothespin.
Yes, sorry, safety pin. And it's like one of you. I went to the hospital.
Probably. I mean, I guess it could have been either one of us. But
I don't know. But it's just like I'm logging all these. I got a feel for what's going on, and then it's like I turn around and come back, and you guys are like, riding bikes and wearing high top sneakers and have opinions and are learning shit, and I'm like, whoa. And then every time after that, I come back and it's like, who knows? Like 6 months is, I don't have any idea, but it's like I lost completely. But there's a narrative, sort of, at least in my mind, that it gets told from this perspective, and seldom have I been around to hear it told from yours. Like you just, I got Jarbo locked in, and you're like the closet and roller skate. Like I don't ever get that.
remember the fire that happened at Jarbo?
No.
There's a fire inside the furnace. So in the sunroom, the wood panel room where Dad liked to hang out, there was like a furnace in the wall. And one night he like smelled smoke and like saw something coming out of the vent. And all I know is that I'm laying in my bed and all of a sudden I'm like hands and feet, and like all of my stuffed animals are inside my comforter with me and I can only see the ceiling. He had just come and like scooped me up to get me outside of the house. And it ended up being fine. But,
Wow.
like, we had to like call the fire department. It was like an electrical fire in the wall.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so good thing he was still up.
Right? Or might not be sitting there right now.
I mean, because I for sure would have been the first one going up in flames.
Oh, because you were downstairs.
Yeah, it was on
Oh,
the lower
shit.
level. I was
Wow.
right there next to it.
It's like he went upstairs to get you before he put out the fire. Oh, no, you were just right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think he yelled at Mom to get Megan and just...
Yeah, so, I guess the other piece that kind of comes into the fold is the of the camcorder
Oh yeah,
where
it's
he
12:22 on a Saturday,
um
and never like check it to the side. Always put it in front of the camera lens,
and
even
this,
though on the camera
the display
it's
shows
jacking
the date and time. But can you imagine having no? I mean, you guys didn't really have much in the way of photo albums, did you? Or are there some around?
Yeah,
Okay,
of like
just life.
yeah.
You guys is okay. So if
I mean, the number of times I've gone through those things, organized them. Remember the books I made for everybody that one year?
yes.
Yeah.
So, but like, if there were no photo albums and no VHS tapes and no,
Oh, I have no idea how much I would actually remember.
right? It's bizarre. Like, and it kind of takes you like to this storyteller notion of when things just got passed down verbally around the fire
Yeah.
at night or whatever, and it's like, how many times did pieces or massive chunks of the truth
Get lost in translation.
lost, manipulated, omitted, and so every time you meet somebody, it's like, yeah, for 6 generations, my family were hay farmers. And it's like, were they? Because
Or are you full of
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Has somebody been just loading you
Somebody
full?
just hang a pretty picture of hay bales in your house and you just went with it?
So not much from Bradshaw, got a lot from Jarbo, and then
Okay.
1991.
I don't know. I was 9. I was in 3rd grade.
So yeah, ish, around
Yeah.
there. You know the termite story, right? When they bought it. No.
I mean, I love that our dad was an exterminator like most of our life, and you're like the termite story. Like,
Well, okay, so
there's a lot of stories about bugs.
I don't know. I mean, I think it was like.
What part of it had termites?
Well, I think the way that things wrapped up on Jarbo was like less than desirable because they had, sure, it was a favor to let them move in there, but it was also helping them out because they're taking care of Aunt Lil.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, like she passed. I don't know how much longer you guys were there after she passed.
I mean, I feel like a couple of years.
Yeah,
because
but-
I was in that room for a little while.
But I
feel
think
like.
the feeling was like, we've essentially and legitimately earned the right to call this home. Like not that checks were written or papers were
Yeah.
signed or anything like that, but I think that the feeling was like our due diligence has been done, and this is a nice home. It's working for us. We have 2 small kids, and then I think they were like, I think Wanda was like, yeah, we want.
Well,
there
I
was
think
some
after Aunt Lil passed, either they maybe have been renting for like a lower portion because they're helping with Aunt Lil, or they weren't renting at all. And then when she passed, I think we were renting from Wanda.
okay.
And so I think Wanda wanted to sell it, and so it was
Yeah.
like, do you want to buy this house, or can I put it on the market?
I don't know what went down, but I remember them. I feel like they were on some level they were a little disappointed by.
Wanda.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who's going to hear this, but I don't think she was the nicest person.
Well, I don't think so either. But
Yeah.
so there's that, and then
I mean, the same reason she wanted them to move in and help. She didn't want to help. She didn't really want to
Yeah.
have to deal with the stuff with Aunt Lil.
but I think so that's disappointing, and maybe it's a mix of emotional and financial and logistical. And then 6018 enters the radar, and it's like, I think, based on knowing nothing, that it was probably. I mean, you've bought a home now, like an anxiety provoking move to go from that arrangement to this large. Like we have to have our shit together.
Yeah, I mean,
we-
Brookside is no like mansion, but it's definitely not the postage stamp that was Jarbo. I mean, not postage
Right.
stamp. That house was pretty decent size, but just going to being owners, going to
Yeah.
a larger property in probably a little bit more expensive neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean-
So
I say a little bit more expensive. It's definitely
think there
higher
was-
price neighborhood than 77
yeah,
in Jarbo.
yeah. I think there was a mix of like excitement and trepidation and all the things that going into like
Whereas I was like, cool, I get the master.
yeah. And so for whatever reason, I mean, I guess Dad and Grandpa are probably logging a bunch of hours together at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, he took Grandpa over there to see it.
Okay.
And like, I think it was like we got to have inspection. We're going to close tomorrow or next week, but I want your opinion.
Uh-huh.
And so he did a
Brings them.
walkthrough, and I think he was like, I don't know, I have to think about it or something.
Grandpa was?
I'll call you later this evening. And he called him, and he goes, no. On his way out, he goes, I don't think you should buy this house. I think it smells like it's got termites.
Oh my God, and he was probably right.
And Dad was like, "So what do you mean? There's not a smell. Like what?" But it just, fucked his mind up for a second. And Grandpa left and got home and called him and said, or maybe they'd already bought, because he called him. Dad was there when Grandpa called him,
At Brookside?
and he goes, I don't remember which cabinet, but let's just say it's that first one above the dish drainer.
It is. You're right. Where the sticker was.
Yeah. Oh, so you do know the story.
Oh, I don't know. I just know the sticker
So
was there.
so Dad opens the cabinet and Beck Exterminator stickers there, and so Grandpa had acted like he'd never been in there before, and like planted a little bit of fear in Dad's mind about the purchase of the house, and they might have termites, and he was just fucking with him.
Oh. I mean, that's a better ending to
Yeah.
the story for sure.
Yeah. So you're 9.
Uh-huh.
You did 2 years ECLC, and then fucking K through 8. Just
You know it. Jumper, 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 skirt. Finally get to wear the skirt in 5th grade.
yeah.
A lot of change in my life. And then when I went from 8th grade to 9th grade, it was red and blue plaid to red, green, and yellow plaid. So
Wow.
lots of variation in my wardrobe.
But I mean, like, your 10 years at St. Peter's was like mostly, it was good, right? Like
Yeah.
a lot of good people and good teachers and friends and activities and
Name every one of my teachers, K through 8.
do it.
Oh, well, if you want to start with ECLC, there was Miss Ryan and Miss Peterson, but Miss Peterson is the OG. Like, she
Okay.
is the best teacher ever. Kindergarten was Miss Merritt, 1st grade Miss Eichhorst, 2nd grade Miss Tarnish, 3rd grade Miss Starnes, 4th grade Miss Gregory, 5th grade Miss Woods, 6th grade Miss Meyer, 7th grade Miss Youngblood, and 8th grade Mr. Donnelly.
Wow. And then, there was never a conversation, right? It was going to be St. Teresa's.
No, I wanted to go to Miege
Nuh-uh. Really? Because
because, like, my friends went to Miege, and I wanted to go to school where there was boys.
I did had a little bit of this with Joe Strobel, where it was like, X number of us went to Rockhurst and X number of us went to Miege, and
Yeah.
some folks, but he's like, we're still friends. And then I was like, oh yeah, I guess that every year somebody knows the numbers. Like last year it was, there's 20 St. Peter's freshman girl, maybe it was seniors
Of where they're going?
at St. Teresa's this year. And it's like, oh yeah, man, there's other schools
Other places
feeding
they
in.
can
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, you had friends that were going there.
Like Matt Ralston and
Okay.
like Chris Klein and like I'm sure probably Carlos had something to do with it because I had a crush on him since I was like 13
Right.
or 12 or something stupid. Mom and Dad were like, "That's cute. You're half price at St. Teresa's."
Why? Because
'Cause
Megan's already.
there.
Oh,
Second child's half price.
That's right. And she was getting a little bit of financial aid because of grades, right? Was she not? I think she
I don't
was.
know.
But was it ever a conversation for her? Or
No,
did
I think she was like good to go St. Teresa's.
'Kay.
And the funny thing is, where her birthday falls in that July area, she is 2 classes older than me. But I had friends at both Miege and Rockhurst, guys that are older than Megan, but were only 1 class above me. But like Megan was not only like so smart that they were like, yeah, just push her on into this one, but also she was taking classes
Yes.
even more
Yeah.
advanced than the grade she was
Yeah.
in.
Well, I mean, she was going to St. Teresa's from St. Peter's.
I did that too.
That's
the
right.
Pre-algebra.
That's right. And then she finished did she finish high school with like 30 college credit hours?
Probably.
Like was like
I mean, because she was taking honors classes
yeah,
like basically the whole time
fucking
she was in
nerd.
high school.
Yeah, your mom.
Hey, you called that nerd for geometry off.
That's what where I was going with this is.
I was gonna say I couldn't have helped you.
Oh, that's not the version your mother gave me. She was like, don't forget, Jessica was like a whiz in math and science, and she totally
I was
could
really
have.
good in math. I maybe could have helped you, but the way they teach it is different now. So
I don't.
that's where.
That doesn't matter. I didn't understand it
Okay,
when
I
I was
understood
going
it
through.
then. I was really good at math. I was really good at math. She will always tell me that I should have applied myself more.
Okay,
like,
thanks for
well.
that. Words of encouragement. There.
I'm like, yeah, that is too late.
So Saint Teresa's, good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Like love memories and friends and.
Yeah, I mean, like with the Miege thing, it was like basically mom and dad were like, you can decide when you're a junior if you're still liking it.
Oh, interesting. Who would want to switch then?
Well, yeah, I didn't want to. Because by then I was settled in my ways. But yeah, they were like, you're half price. Because I was like, even with out-of-state tuition, I was like, Miege is cheaper than St. Teresa's. Like, I had looked into
You
it.
found that out on your own?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
But
Carrier pigeons.
Yeah, not if I'm half price. Like, if I'm half price
Right,
at St. Teresa's,
right,
there's no beating that. But I actually ended up loving it because I wasn't I wasn't distracted by boys all the time because they weren't there.
Right.
I didn't have to think about what I looked like ever. I mean, I would literally sleep in boxers and a tank top, and I would get on and put the polo over my tank top and skirt over my boxers and go to school.
Think that I knew that.
Yeah.
And, we were listing a few of our rad similarities a little bit ago. Both fans of Sleeping In. At least you, I don't know if you still...
I mean, I literally sent a meme to Kathleen this morning when I couldn't fall back asleep that was like, I just love my bed. Why do people not love their bed? Sometimes my only activity of the day is getting in my bed. Yes, I love sleeping in. I love my bed.
Yeah, well, but that was also the case. You loved your bed on Brookside.
Yeah.
I mean, there,
the encompassing is that I love sleep.
Yes.
My bed is extremely comfortable.
Yeah.
But...
and then, I mean, what was it? I remember, junior year is kind of wrapping up, and for me, and people are like talking college, and I was like, oh shit, like already? We don't have to wait till next year to start thinking about it. And so then it was like,
and it's like the urgency of like, no, you got to do it now.
And then senior year rolls around, and then the pressure's really on. And it's like, I remember there's an issue of the newspaper that comes out, and on the back it lists where everybody's going.
Oh,
for kind of
in junior year?
No.
Oh, okay.
So junior year is like, oh, we're supposed to be thinking about senior year. They're like, hello, and it's like I don't even know what I'm doing right now, let alone tomorrow, let alone. And then spring of senior year, there's always an issue of the newspaper where it's like, this is the one where it's going to show where everybody's going. And I was like,
I don't know my answer.
Just for sake,
just gonna throw something at the wall and see.
Exactly. So, and that was I went somehow to a handful of summer parties with Sig Up guys.
You partied
down in Pittsburgh, and I was afraid of going to KU.
Why?
Because I was partying so much junior and senior year. I was like, this is going to end poorly if I just move to Lawrence.
Oh, gotcha.
Where I already like to go often and go out to house parties and bars. So I went to Pitt State to not. But then these people are like, come see how much we party. And I was like, yeah. But anyway, what was that process? You landed on Mizzou.
Yes.
What was all of that process like for you?
I don't really remember a whole lot of it being like taxing. Like, I feel like it wasn't going to be anything super far. I'm pretty sure I got accepted to MU, K-State, and Southwest Missouri State, which has a different name now, Central Missouri or something.
Yeah, I can't.
Whatever it is. I don't even know. Did I make you that pillow?
You might have. It's got royals on the back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay.
Sorry, squirrel.
No, it's, what really, what that pillow is really good for?
sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Napping.
Get it.
Turns out that
The whole couches?
yeah, anything that's horizontal and has a
Yeah.
modicum of support,
Yep.
I can sleep on
Me
it.
too. Works well.
Yeah.
I don't even remember why I applied to Southwest. I want to say maybe because Morgan was going there, but I don't think that would have necessarily been a factor. I'm pretty sure I applied to K-State because Carlos and I were dating then, and he was at K-State because he was a year ahead of
Yeah.
me.
Oh, okay.
So he was already there.
Already gone. Yeah. No, you didn't apply to KU though.
No,
Okay. Were they willing to cough up out of state for K State?
I th- I don't remember it being a no.
Okay.
So I guess so.
Figured out.
I mean, it was going to be financial aid wherever I went. Like, it wasn't going to be just
Right.
like, yeah, we can just swing whatever
How
school.
much?
Yeah.
Just write a check.
No, yeah, it wasn't just like, hey, let's just throw
Yeah.
dollars at you. And then MU, so it was kind of like, do I go where my boyfriend's going, or do I go where a lot of my friends are going? Yeah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't really based. And Jenny and I were super close.
Yeah.
And she went to MU. She ended up switching to KU, but she and I went to MU together. I mean, we were like best
yes.
friends, like attached
Yes.
at the hip. So I'm sure that Jenny was probably a big factor in it because I knew I'd like have my other half basically. I mean, we
Right.
were together all the time.
Yeah.
So that was probably a big factor of it because like we were in the dorm together. Jenny's older sister.
I remember seeing the dorm. Like your mom and I drove down for a football game.
Yeah.
And I saw the dorm. Yeah.
Well, and Jenny's sister was a few years older than us, so she was there, and she was like, Jones just got new air conditioning put in all throughout the building. So Jenny and I were like, Greek life, even though we had no intention of being in a sorority.
Nice.
So we'd get put in a good dorm. And then we just sat there and got stoned and watched the anomaly that is hazing and recruitment for sororities across
Oh,
the state.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like they'd come like marching out the doors and like
Oh,
have
boy.
the girls like lined up on the street, and Jenny and I were just like, that looks terrible.
And then when did I come down with somebody to go to that Medeski show? Did I bring a girlfriend or did I roll solo?
I don't remember you bringing a girlfriend.
I remember sleeping in a room that had like a kitchen right next to where I was sleeping.
So now I'm on East Campus.
Okay, so sophomore year.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we moved into that house. So Jenny switched to KU.
Already?
Yeah, after freshman year.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So Mary
Why?
Bailey, I think she felt like she was still living high school because like she hung out with a ton of the people that were there in high school, whereas like she and I hung out, but like I didn't go to like a lot of these like cliche parties that were like the Rockhurst boys and stuff that she had done for years. I was, off making great decisions left and right over here. And also hung out with a lot of what?
Roadhouse.
And also hung out with the Miege people a lot. So I wasn't necessarily going to like Rockhurst parties or anything. So I think she felt like it was too much of like a repeat of what high school was.
Okay. Wow, interesting that she
Yeah,
had
she
that
was
on
just,
the
like,
brain.
over it, yeah.
And like, you know what? This is not for me. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
feel like she was like, this isn't what I signed up for.
okay.
And I was no hard feelings to me. Like, I understood. I mean, of course I wanted her to stay, but like, I knew that she had been feeling that way for a while. It wasn't like it happened at the end of the semester and then she's gone. So then Ann Hudnall, Mary Bailey, and I are like, where are we going to live?
Right.
Where are we going to live? And I want to say, do you remember the Doyles that lived next door to Mom? Sean and Megan Doyle that had the two little girls?
Yes.
They lived there for a while. First, it was a bunch of guys, and then one of them...
Yes.
Yeah, they got married and had kids, and one of the guys stayed and had a family there. I'm pretty sure it was Megan. She was at MU at the same time. I want to say she introduced Mary to one of the girls from Columbia, either Lindsay, or Laura. Also 3 girls from Columbia looking for a place to live. So we found this house, and all 6 of us moved in. So when you stayed with us, that was in the Wilson house on East Campus.
Okay.
And yeah, we had 4 kitchens and 5 bathrooms and 3-story house because it had been broken into 4 apartments too.
Right.
So I'm not sure if Anne was like, Anne slept on my floor a lot up on the 3rd floor because sometimes she didn't want to be down on the 1st floor because she was like scared to be by the doors.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But so she might have just slept on my floor if you slept in the kitchen room.
Yeah. I just remember like not being sober, going to bed, and then
Being
waking.
like, I'm by a stove.
Yeah, and then
And if you open that stove, I bet there's some of Anne's sweaters.
right.
Maybe not in the stove, but
Feels
definitely in the
familiar.
cabinets.
Yeah. And then we went to
Blue Note. Isn't that where the show
that
was?
was that was where, but we partied after the show,
Oh,
and then and then we went out to the token breakfast place.
did we go to Flat Branch?
It was like dinery.
Oh, we maybe go right next door to Lee Street Deli. It was like 3 houses down.
It's got a catchier name than that. Like I knew about it before I came to town.
Okay, well then I
Anyway,
suck.
but so
I believe you, but I don't remember.
yeah, and but so for I don't know, I don't want to say for all of those 2 years, but for a portion of them, you were back a lot.
Oh, I was back almost all the time because Waterway would also pay me to come home.
Pay you how?
They would be screwed and not have people to work, so they would offer me an incentive bonus, a PI, for $100 to come home and work on the weekends a lot of the time. And I was like, oh, coming home anyways. They'd be like, and then they'd fill my tank up too when I went back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
So I'd come home and make money and make the $100 bonus.
What
and
was
then get
the
a full
biggest driving? Was it the making? Like I need the money, so I'm going to come work, or I'm homesick, or there's somebody in particular I want to see, or a thing I want to do.
I don't know, but I came home all the time.
Yeah, and I think a couple times it was on the DL, like
Well, yeah, because Mom was like, "Stop putting
Miles
on
on
the
your car."
So
Yeah.
I was like, "Blair, I'm staying
yeah,
at your
right,
house."
right.
I'd roll into town with like $2 and be like, "Will you feed me
Yeah,
bruschetta
yeah.
from McCoy's?"
But so Jenny's gone after one, and then after two, that was it for you.
So the house was fun, but we partied
Yeah.
and we hosted a lot of the parties. And luckily, I got the third floor. Nobody wanted it, which it didn't have.
Did your space end up getting left alone for
Yes,
the most part? Nice.
because I could lock it. It used to be its own apartment.
Yeah.
It didn't-
Jackpot.
Yeah, it didn't have a shower head anymore, so I showered on the second floor.
Oh.
But I had sink, toilet, stove, fridge, microwave, my desk up there, my bed, my clothes,
Wow.
and I could lock it so nobody could come. No, when we had parties, nobody could be in my space.
Right.
Especially because I could keep my own damn food up there, so drunk people didn't eat it when
Yeah.
they wanted to
Well, what if you're hosting? Like immediately where I go is if you are hosting a bunch and then you've had your fill and you got to check out for the night and
Yeah.
you don't want any strange boys wandering in.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, and that's where the whole first floor, because there's one room on the first floor. First, Mary wanted it, but there was just like a sliding door. And it was a big pocket door, but it was a huge sliding door in between her room and the living room where everyone partied.
Right.
It was
Oh.
like she was like sick of the noise.
Yeah.
So Anne was like, I'm up partying all the time. I'll switch with you. So Mary moves up to the kitchen room and Anne moves down to the first floor, but she does not like to be by herself on like a floor that there's like exits. So, I mean, unless somebody like a friend was crashing and like stayed in her room with her, she would sleep up on my floor all the time, which I didn't care. It was totally
Right.
fine, but I was like, it can't be that comfortable, but I didn't care.
Right.
I would just sometimes come like leaving for class and then just like step over Anne.
Don't mind me.
But I really didn't care. Like, it's college.
So you don't know you don't not exactly sure why you're coming home but when you're done and you
So what happened is we're going to move out of this house. Like, it's been
Right.
fun, but we're not all going to like continue to do this craziness. I mean, and it was a block. Like, it wasn't just like us. Like, we had friends in houses that every house had a name. We could all walk to each other. It was a party block. Like, I'll come back to the leaving, but it was like we were 1402.
okay.
And then Gwen McGowie's older brother,
Uh-huh.
Peter, and
Yes.
then like David Hudnall and Al Smith lived across the street, and like one or more of them were like in law school, so that was the firm. And then
Nice.
like further down the street was Tom Porto's house. And then you could cut through Porto's backyard to
Any relation to Stacy?
Yeah, brother.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
and like who lived there with him? Not Peter. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Some of this, yeah, rockers. This is why Jenny felt like it was like we're just like living. She's living high school all over.
Yeah,
college
of course.
town.
Yeah.
You can cut through Porto's backyard, and there's like Allison Storm, Sarah's sister. Remember Heidi Gardner, who's on Saturday Night Live now. She's on Saturday Night Live
Okay.
now, but she and Allison and Christine and Laura Bowers lived there. That was the maxi pad.
Wow.
And then if you go further down the street, Tim Houston, John Linhoff, Sean Knatzer, Kevin
Dang.
Elward, Brian Liston, they lived in a basement, all five of
Did
them.
Sean and Jay split
Yeah,
a
a
while
while
ago?
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a turtle named Conrad, so that was Conrad's. And Ian like drew painted Conrad's on the wall, like in the Cheers type of script.
Oh,
And they like had a bar
wow.
built and everything.
Damn.
Yeah, they were like my children.
Not a lot of studying happening, doesn't sound like.
No, no.
But you.
So we get to the point of like where we're gonna move. I can't remember if Mary was moving in with Greg. I think I don't remember what the Lindsay, and Laura crew had planned. But Ann and I found this place that's down the same street, across the street, first floor of a place that's like 2 bedrooms, and she decided that she isn't gonna stay. We've already put a deposit down on this place
For first semester of junior year?
Yeah, she's gonna go back to Kansas. She's gonna transfer home.
Your sophomore year ends, summer happens. You're going to be.
I mean, I think she basically told me in like May.
Okay.
So we were able to get like $900 of our $1,200 deposit back. And I was just like, fuck this. I am not here to play this like roulette game of like, who am I going to live with and where am I going to live? I'm like trying to get college done and get my damn degree. So I was like, screw it. I'm transferring home. I'm going to live with mom and finish at UMKC. So
And
that's what I
did
did.
you 2 years and you were done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then did you lose any credits
Nope.
transferring?
Nope, because it's all University of Missouri. Just one's Columbia and
Of
one's
course.
Kansas City.
Nice. Have you ever felt any form of regret?
Nope.
Like, my 2 years were fine, and I'm glad that
My 2 years were fine. I don't think I really like, and you know, people have different feelings on like their college experience, but I don't feel like I missed out on anything. I had tons of friends here in town, so coming home wasn't that weird. And I had a job already too. Like I had Waterway in my back pocket.
What year did you graduate?
From college? 2006.
2006.
So 2 years at MU, 2 years at UMKC.
So, I mean, God, okay, yeah. I don't. What were your 2 years at UMKC like? I mean, did you enjoy your classes? Were you studying at your mom's house?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I don't have anything. It's like I knew you were doing it, and
you don't like have to know.
no, I know, but it just is weird that like, oh, Jessica, now she's gonna move home and go to UMKC, and then it's like Jessica's graduation is Saturday, and it's like what?
Yeah, I mean that's what I wanted. Though. I was like, I just need to get it done. Like,
Right.
I need to get on with my life.
But
like,
so like I really, and it was a different deal because I'm not taking full loads, right? And it's night for grad school. I absolutely loved UMKC. What was your experience like?
it was fine.
Just fine.
Yeah, I got my stuff done. It was just like kind of a side job
Nice.
that I got to get completed.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I got good grades.
Were you ever like, this fucking is a drag, or were you like, oh, I like this class, or was there a little bit of both?
No, because I think I got most of the ones that were like the bullshit, like art history and the crap you had to take that made no sense out of the way in Columbia.
Okay. Okay.
So like I was taking stuff that was like, you know, mine ended up being. Sorry, I got lotion on your table.
It's quite all right.
Mine was psychology and like emphasis in child development. So like I was actually interested in the classes I was taking at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And I had some teachers that I really liked. Always make a class buddy. So you always make a class buddy so you can share notes. You make a class buddy like first or second week. So
Where did you learn that?
my brain,
Just you invented that phrase. Always make a class buddy.
I guess.
Okay.
I mean,
I wish you would have
people
told me that.
If people don't
I was
know
always
this,
like, you know.
no, you make a class buddy right away, especially if it's a class you don't like.
Yes.
And then you can kind of have the understanding of like, you go Tuesdays and I'll go Thursdays. We'll compare notes and study together.
That's a little different than sharing notes.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
no, class buddy has lots more perks than just sharing notes.
So you get it done.
Sometimes you sleep with your class buddy. You don't know what
Hey,
happens.
right. I need a class buddy. If there's anybody looking for. So over this period of years that you were under the same roof as Megan Smith Sainer, Johnson Blair, like I said, I'm kind of dialed in, and then I'm not. And just every time I turn around, huge pockets of time are passing, and you guys are growing and having. So the one go-to thing that has been passed along enough times that it's logged in here.
The note
It
cards.
the what?
Oh, I said the note cards.
No, what's the note
Oh no,
cards?
you go first.
Bickering about clothes.
Oh God, yes.
And the reason I bring that up is because I'm just generally curious about the two of yours relationship under those roofs for so many years.
I don't even think she really cared that much about the clothes situation. I think she just kind of liked to mess with me. Like,
Have you voiced this to her before, or said it?
no, but like think about who we are now. Like I feel like she'd be like, I mean, I feel like I'm like, put on this sweatshirt and you want these earrings. I just feel like she was probably like, that's mine, even if she like didn't really care to wear it at all.
Gotcha.
It was like,
Gotcha.
you can't have it.
Yeah. But I mean, it came from your mom and dad. Like they're the ones that were like the two of them are just at each other's throat.
Oh yeah.
And I occasionally working, so I come and there'd be somebody stomping up the stairs or down the stairs or hear a door slam.
And the
Oh
shocking
shit! What
thing
was
is
it? They're
like,
like, remember I was telling you?
we really, we really do like each other. But
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I don't like have these like. I do know I threw a kitchen chair at her one time.
Oh,
and
shit.
She dodged it, and I dented the dishwasher.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that disagreement about? Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I would get frustrated with her a lot. And I can't even like remember what I mean, sure it wasn't anything that important. But I feel like I remember because like we stayed home a lot by ourselves. And like when we got a little bit older, and I feel like I remember one time Dad just being like, "Well, then if she hits you, just hit her back." And I was like, this like new sense of empowerment, like I'm not gonna get in trouble if I hit her back.
Transformer.
Yes.
Let's roll.
I don't know if like I ever actually did, but I felt like they were just like, shut up. Like we're so tired when we come home from work. I don't want to hear about
Right.
who grabbed the remote when it wasn't their turn to pick a show, and like why the hell did you have Saved by the Bell on anyways? You're not allowed to watch it.
Oh my God, that came up at the tail end of a recent episode. Do you know where that phrase comes from?
What?
The title of that show?
No. Doesn't it come from Zach not quite making it to school?
We've all thought that, or not me, because I never watched. It was always just like, what the fuck? Why is that on?
So good. Why did you
So
not
they
watch
would
it?
talk because Tiffany would be in there watching it, and would just everything was grotesque about it to me.
So good. Kelly Kapowski didn't draw you in a little bit?
I mean, I was like already knee deep with Sports Illustrated swimsuit.
Gotcha.
Like I had my material.
Okay.
But so I'm rapping with this guest recently, and that comes up, and they used to tie a string to your fingers, toes, and who knows what else, and in your coffin, and then the string would come up to a bell, and if they made a mistake and you weren't dead, and they buried you, and you woke up, and then it would ring the bell above ground, and the night watchman would be, oh shit, and get you out.
What?
Right.
Who is burying people that they're not sure that they're dead?
I go. So, she can't think of it.
I
right?
mean, the horror, the flashy '90s like colors of the
I
screen
know.
that you just took to this like
I
dark
know.
area.
She's trying to remember because I brought up being buried alive, and she's trying to remember.
Who is this morbid person that you interviewed?
Let me see. I gotta check something really quick.
Oh my goodness. Saved by the Bell, indeed.
Okay, so when we're done, I close with a set of goofy questions.
Okay.
And some of them stay the same, but I kind of rotate. So one of them is like, do you remember the show Fear Factor? And what would be the worst fear factor for Jessica? If I was going to ask you that question, right? And I know your fucking Santa Claus list here. And sometimes people struggle, and I say, you know what, for me, it's all of that. I don't want to put my finger in Jello in the dark and have somebody tell me that it's a fucking liver. I don't want to lay in a coffin with spider.
I don't want, and no, like I don't even want you to talk about
So
it.
sometimes people struggle to think of what would be, and so the place I go to, and I think this is a fresh memory because of that. Like, what was that submarine thing that got lost, and all the people, it just kept plummeting for days.
Oh, I live under a rock. I don't know about this.
Yes, you do. It was like a rich person's little mini submarine cruise kind of thing, and it like something happened, and and it was just, and they were like, in 4 hours, the pressure is just,
Well, yeah, you'll die.
Yeah, right. And so everybody was like, for days, people were. I was like, aren't they dead? Like, what?
Weren't they dead?
Well, why are we still talking about it? Because I feel like it already happened. They already died.
Also, like, can you even find them? Because nobody can go down probably that far to like
exactly
recover them.
So the reason, like,
it's a big fear right there when people are like, let's scuba dive. I'm like, kill me.
Yeah.
No.
Do you have a whale harpoon? Just put it in my neck. Don't take
Snorkel?
me.
I'll be right up here on the surface.
Yeah.
Do not take me down.
So like
deep water is one of my big ones.
Same. So the notion of, actually, we take the word crazy and we throw it around, but the actually going crazy is like, or like, having a break, is one of my biggest fears. So if I was in that vessel, like, there's probably some people that we got to devise a plan to save us, and I would be completely bananas, not able to function.
Yeah,
and so they would be like, down. First order of business, we got to kill that guy because he's fucking out of his mind. Kill Bill, Uma Thurman gets chloroformed and she wakes up.
Yeah,
I'm not fucking. I don't care if I know the Pai Mei 5-point exploding heart technique. I'm not gonna have the
wherewithal to do that.
I'm gonna immediately and so that's where, when people struggle to come up with that would, and there's not a way, you can't end it. You can't just put yourself.
No.
Anyway, so that's what I say when somebody's struggling, and so I said that to this guest,
and that's how you.
She's like, there used to be a thing, and a guy would walk, and I was like, what? And she's like, Google it, and I was like, I Googled buried alive, and I was reading. She's like, no, Google the slogan. And so I said buried alive slogan, and it Saved by the Bell immediately was all the results, and I was like, get the fuck out of here.
That is real messed up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
how the fuck did we
fighting over the remote and
you and May? So note cards. You were like,
I thought you were gonna say, because I feel like there was a time in high school that I came home.
Oh, through a chair?
No, that was grade
different
school.
time.
That was grade school. And I feel like she was like on the floor. That room used to have that dark blue carpet. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
It. And she had like all of her like color coded note cards fanned out in like an arched circle. And I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, studying. I have a test on Monday. And I was like, drunk. And like 15 or 16.
Fucking loser.
I was like, isn't it Friday?
Was it?
Yeah. It was
nice.
Friday. Yeah.
Wow.
But I just remember being like leaning against the door frame for support, being like, yeah, the test is on Monday. Like, what the hell are you doing? Study on Sunday. But it was Friday.
And you didn't mess with her stuff?
Oh, no. I just remember like that is like a very telling difference of who we were in high school.
Well, and then, financial aid for high school, and then a full ride in college. Mm-hmm. Thanks. Didn't know that was an option. Wish somebody would have.
What?
Like that you could do that.
Get scholarships?
Yeah. You could try.
Yeah.
You could continue trying beyond 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So the memory portion, the music portion of memories for me is like, I remember the I won't use the term that we have called it a lot in the past, but I remember the first van,
Mm-hmm.
yellow with the red zag
Mm-hmm.
in the interior of it. The second van was like cream and a little bit bigger and nicer on the inside. I didn't log as many memories in there, so I have but I remember this like mini leather briefcase that had a like a lid you would close and a like a hasp to fasten it, and it was full of like 8 tracks, and it was like
Sure.
a bunch of John Denver, some Oak Ridge Boys. There was a Muppet soundtrack, and a Sesame Street one in there, and probably so Oak Ridge Boys, John Denver, probably some Barry Manilow.
Yeah, these are not things I can validate.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm trying here.
Yeah.
I'm not. This is a lot of it is certainty, but some of it is it's.
Yeah,
Hey,
you're like Oak Ridge Boys. I'm like, the fuck is that?
so Oak Ridge, bop, bow, bow,
Oh,
Elvira.
yes. Okay.
They used to. I think they used to feature often at Possum Trot. Do you remember seeing these shirts or hearing
do.
that? Okay.
Yep.
And then I think they like broke down once, and Dad like gave him a ride, and like that was
His like cool
his
band.
climate. No, that like peak cool. Like
Oh.
any opera, I get. Yeah, we know you gave him a ride. Jesus Christ! Like nobody knows who that band is, Dad.
But it
But
didn't matter because he did.
yes. So interesting to me that that man, our father, raised in the fashion that he was raised in. The two, I mean, we could be here for days, like delving into all of it. But the 2 points that I go to whenever I'm talking to somebody about this is one experience with his dad and one experience with his mom. And the experience with his dad was he was after dinner in an easy chair with his feet on an ottoman reading the newspaper.
Grandpa Bill was?
Yes, and Dad was at his feet trying to get his attention, trying to interact with him,
Sure, that went well.
fishing for affection,
Yeah.
perhaps validation, anything. And the
Peering over the top.
yeah was like, and he was like, and Dad was like, I love you, and maybe that's when the peer happened, and then the paper just came back up, and Dad was probably like, Jesus fucking Christ with these people. Like the next day, walking out the door to school, Grandpa Bill comes out on the porch in his robe. Hey, and Dad's like, oh my God, he's fucking talking to me. That conversation we had last night, I like that. And then goes and like, and that was, I think that was it.
Yeah.
And then, when things are a little hazy near the tail end of my time in Colorado, when I'm visiting, and then when I'm back, and now I'm living here. Like there's a Venn diagram, which I'm not sure. Anyway, at some point in that little, he was going to AA and like opening up and shutting the place down most days, I believe. I know he tried Zoloft. He tried a different kind of medication. He was going to group therapy and seeing a therapist. I mean, he was really like trying to peel some of the onion layers away. And in some session, and I was like, finished my psych degree. I went and did an internship at a mental hospital, and it was like I got like all these doctors wrote me like insanely praiseworthy recommendation letters. And I think it was just the group that I was with. I was in one unit in the morning and a different unit in the afternoon. So I'm with a different group of colleagues and in both, everybody was kind of like, just get through this. And I, for whatever reason, I was like, no, we have to, I stepped up and was like, I would organize shit, and I was kind of leadery. I mean, who knows why? But then I get all these fucking, and it's like, and they're like, you should for sure, like, you should PhD all the way, psychology. Somebody else is like, just get a master's, but do it on like an administrative level because you'll hit an earning ceiling very quickly in this field. And I'm also, I just minored in literature, hosted a radio show for 3 years, was on the newspaper staff. So I've got, and the restaurant shit. And it's like, I really, now I like school because I'm studying the shit that I'm interested in. I don't have to take fucking math and science. And it's like, I'm going to no matter what, I'm going to grad school. But am I going for psychology? Am I going for writing? Am I going, what am I going to do? Took me, anyway. So when this stuff is happening for dad, I'm very dialed into, I've just done an undergrad in psych. And I want him to be around, you know?
Right.
And so he tells me we're in the red truck. And he tells me about this session that he just had where it occurred to him that he had no memories at all of his mother holding him and doesn't remember her telling him that she loved him his
Nope.
whole life. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Pull over and let me out. I'll walk. And he wasn't,
No.
you know. For him to like, you know, be functioning enough in the human adult realm where he's like, these are the kinds of artists I like, and I sure like having music in my vehicle, and it's amazing that he had that.
Oh, that he turned out how he did?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and loved music because he could have look at his fucking parents. You imagine them snapping or dancing in the kitchen or singing a song,
Yeah.
joy coming off of them in any form.
No.
And so anyway, I've been thinking about that a lot, and especially getting ready for your episode and thinking about that one day we were driving down the road and a song called Classical Gas came on, and he's like, oh my god, this is my like absolute favorite song of all time. And he sang every single word of every single verse, or if it's instrumental, he's humming
Of
the,
course.
and just not. I'm like, you gotta diet your diaphragm, dude. It's not in here because it was bad,
Yeah.
you know. And
He
then
didn't care.
he tried. He was like, and then he tried, and it was immediately better. And he looked over him, and he was like, yeah, see, I know a little bit. But it makes me happy that he, you know, music for me was, you know, an escape, a place to, I had my own room. I'll show you the yearbook picture if you've never seen it before.
I don't think so.
But I'm at my, so odd. I'm at my desk in my room at Juju's house.
On 69th.
Yes, and I have this desk because Grandpa Bill was around, and they were like in town for a minute, and he came over with Dad. Dad's like found this desk, and he's like, I need, you know, Blair does all his homework on his bed, laying down, and I found this desk, and I think we can fit it. And Grandpa Bill, let's go. And he grabs his drill, and he's like, no, hardware store, new drill. Like I don't want to see that, you know.
Oh, like Dad's drill?
Yeah, Grandpa Bill was like, that won't do. Like you and your you know, just first world problems.
Yeah,
Your
seriously.
drill makes me uncomfortable to look at, so I'm going to buy you one that I like before I leave town, probably forever.
Yeah.
So I like left for school one day and came home and it was there because they came over and put the whole thing in.
Yeah.
And I mostly stored my music, and I would sit there and like read through the liner notes. And I mean, I had a door with a lock on it and a key. I mean, it was my space, and I was always listening to music, and it helped me. You know, when they split, that sucked, and then it's sad and confusing. And then my next phase was like, we'll fix it. You can get them back. You know, report back. And then move to Atlanta. It's like that just made things a little more difficult. Oh fuck! You both of you are getting married?
Yeah.
Fuck! Like I don't know. I need somebody to buy me a drill. I don't have any skills or ability to. And then babies, and it's like, okay, like who are we fooling now? Like
Yeah.
that ship is fucking. But and so I didn't know it at the time, but eventually, like having my room and my shit and my music was like, I always feel good in this space, and so I like to think of Dad, you know, for whatever shit he was trying to sort through, maybe his whole life,
Yeah.
he had a thing that gave him joy.
Yeah.
It's just, I love that.
Yeah.
And and so at what point, you know, Shawnee Mission East was a fucking click fest.
Mm-hmm.
And that, 428 in my class, 2,000 kids total. And it's like, I think that me and my buddies were just kind of right in no man's land,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of makes you sort of friends with everybody. But the people that were in actual categories was like, it was firm. Like, it was not written in pencil that you were part of this group and you did these things, right?
Like sports and stuff?
Yeah,
Or like
sports,
activities
nerds,
outside?
theater kids, drill team,
Yeah.
drill team, and yell, like, it was like,
But I
because,
mean, like, I was also like the drill team captain who smoked weed and worked at a car wash. Like, I can't put me
but
in a
this
box.
is my lens looking at East,
Oh, gotcha.
because it's like, and who knows who's saying this, right? But it's like the guys that play football and the girls that they're the cool, they're at the top, they're the coolest, right? And then whatever, like, that's just how it was. And like, I knew people on drill, like, there were a couple cute girls on drill team that I had classes with. So when Jessica's on drill team, I'm like, really? What the fuck is she doing that for? And
I
then
loved it.
and then it was like,
It was so fun.
she's actually like killing it. And it's like, are we still talking about drill team? And then maybe I got to see a VHS or went, and then I was like, oh fuck, like, this is,
It was so fun.
yeah. So what pulled you to that? I mean, what were your years of doing it, and what pulled you into it in the first place?
Well, I had always danced, like when we were younger, probably since like 3.
Always danced in.
Like, we went to dance classes at Patty
Really?
Miller's over in Old Overland Park. Oh yeah, I have some sweet pictures with some sweet costumes over the years, especially when they gave me that stellar bowl cut in 5th grade. Add that to an electric orange outfit. And
Nice.
can't lose. I would have done it in my freshman year. I didn't realize I would have had a tryout when I was in 8th grade. Like, I missed whatever the tryout was in 8th grade.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's still that way. And I think it's really different now. Like, it was a drill team. Like, even though we, like, cheered on the sidelines,
Right.
like, we performed at halftime. Whereas,
Oh
like,
yeah.
it wasn't just like, hey, we're just
No.
little
Same
pom-pom
with
routines.
mine.
Yeah.
And I remember.
Well, some schools have both that are like, there is a drill team and then there is a cheerleading squad. Like, we were technically both, but we just didn't really do that much, like, cheering.
Oh really?
Like, we would stand on the sidelines and, like, say cheers, but it wasn't like that's the only thing that, like, our main focus every time was, like, we always had, like, a halftime show.
There wasn't a
performance.
separate group of folks with sweaters and pom poms that would come out and do cartwheels and.
No, we had none of that.
Okay.
It was just
At
like
the school.
us with the pom poms on the side, but then we'd come out at the halftime. Yeah, there was no other team.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
saying some schools do have that. Where
Yeah.
It's like, there's a cheerleading
That's
squad
how
and
East
a drill
was-
team.
yeah.
Yeah, we just, I mean, I was 92 people in my graduating class. We
Oh
just
wow.
didn't have
That's
that big
small,
of a school.
Different.
Yeah.
So you did.
So
dance.
I tried out freshman year to be sophomore year, loved it, stayed on it junior year, and then I don't know how I ended up becoming captain.
There was a gal that ran it that you became pretty close with. Is that a thing?
Katie Dolan was one of the teachers. She's still there. She was the coach, but she was like, I don't really know anything. She was just like, I'll be the drill team coach. And now it's like somebody like professional that they brought in or
Right.
something. I don't know.
Probably because they were like, we got to follow Jessica's.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I would just like get in my zone. Choreographing was so much fun. And when it all comes together, I mean, it's like literally the best feeling ever.
Right.
I need to dig out those VHSs because
But these choreographed things are to music,
yes,
and like
it's choreography. Isn't that what choreography is?
yeah, it's assembling dance sequences to music, I guess. But I mean, but this is, these are the tunes are like favorites, they're hits, they're like folks are into them, right?
Yeah.
And you had some influence in what the tunes
I
would
picked
be.
them. I picked
Okay.
them, and I usually made the mix of whatever it was, and then I was in the living room like play stop, play stop, play stop, and I had like
Fuck,
my binder
really?
open, like writing my notes with each
Really?
8 count of what we would do. Yeah,
Holy shit. Wow.
it was so fun.
Yeah.
And especially when you made him, like when you made him even more, like I had, her name is Lori McDaniel. I think it's Lori Minks now. And I thought she was awesome. I think she was my drill team captain my sophomore year, I think. Because I think she was in Megan's class. So she would have been a senior when I was a sophomore. And she put together, do you remember that Rockefeller Skank song? That right about now, the funk soul brother. Was like in Shrek and shit or something.
Oh, then I
You've
surely
probably
have heard it.
And she put together the cool. I mean, it was like we had a huge team. There was probably like 24 of us or so, and it was like the back row wasn't doing the same thing as the second row. It wasn't doing the same thing as the third row, and the girls in the front were like flipping across. Like it was impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be one of the ones you saw that I didn't choreograph, but it was so cool.
Well, I mean, I went.
I mean, we worked for fucking ever. Like we worked our
I
asses
bet.
off, but it was
Immediately when you were like I was like, how are you fitting in homework?
I don't know.
But I went to a handful of football games. You see, whatever the drill team, and then but basketball was a big thing. Yeah, everybody goes to the basketball games, and that's where you would see like that's where my core drill team memory, and it was just like it's interesting to me that these people choose to do this with their time when you could obviously be getting drunk and stoned elsewhere. That's
I feel
my
like I fit that in plenty.
that's my observation of drill team at East, and then I get taken, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, are they getting paid? They should be getting paid for that. Like that's profesh, right? I mean, I had no idea until I saw it,
Yeah.
but it was super awesome.
Yeah.
And I gotta believe. Thank you for not only being here but giving me a list.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta believe that was sort of the
Well, it's hard because I'm such a mixed bag girl. Like, I don't want an album. I want my favorites from this album, and then I want to put it on this playlist. Then I'm going to give it this cute
Right.
title, and then I'm going to pick these songs and these songs.
Well, if you think of just forget about the list or a list and just consider favorites, right? Like across your life, having that experience, had to be there's some sort of connective dot to what you did in
Yeah.
high school. Obviously, there's music in your social life, but music is a big piece of this drill team experience that
for sure.
was 3 of your what could have been all 4 years of high school.
At one point, I looked at Katie Dolan, and I was like, there's this Notorious B.I.G. song that's called Hypnotize, and Katie was like, no.
what, like that? Why?
I think I turned it on, and she was like,
Oh.
nah, I didn't think we could do
Okay,
this.
okay.
I was like, fine. I love rock and roll.
Right, yeah. Jesus.
But
But I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that experience had to have shaped in some way
oh, I'm
the
sure.
music for the rest of your life. What you like, how often you listen.
Yeah.
It's like a bridge, if you will.
Yeah.
Which I typically like to roll through folks' lists in chronological release order. So we start with a local KC, first time appearing.
No one has picked
no
him?
one has picked him. That's not the right thing.
No one has picked him?
No. Tech
I
Nine,
love him.
Calm Before the Storm from
This is his
1999.
very first album.
I know, right? And I have never, until now, intentionally put on Tech Nine.
Ever?
I've heard it because like people.
Well, yeah, everybody thinks it's cool now that he wrote Red Kingdom, but he's been around for a long time.
No, for sure.
Everybody also thinks he's a part of the, like, that he was, like, his one and only hit was the, let's get high, let's get drunk, let's get fucked up. It's like, no, he was in that song. That was the 57th Street Rogue Dog Villains, and that is not his. This is his.
Yeah, first record of 16 for him. 72 minutes, 15 tracks. Yeah, like I said, first time this Casey. Where did he like Did he actually grow up here, or did he wind up here in high school? Or
No,
do
he
we?
grew up here.
Okay.
And I think that he like hung. Well, they're literally called the 57th Street Rogue Dog Villains, and I think they grew up together. And they talk about it being at 5616 Highland. And I remember Mom being like, "I grew up on Highland," and like blah blah blah. And I'm like, "It's a little different now."
I don't know. You want to drive by real quick and say?
We did.
Oh.
But we can't drive by unless it's daytime,
Oh, yeah, of course.
But she did grow up and had like friends right there in that neighborhood. And the first time she was like, "I think it's like 57th and Highland." And I was like, "Do you know the Rogue Dog Villains?" Obviously not.
I can't wait to connect you guys. So what year did you graduate again?
High school?
Yeah.
2002.
Okay, so this is like sophomore year, freshman year for you,
Sure.
1999.
Yeah.
His first record.
We
How?
went and saw him at Spirit Fest at Liberty Memorial. It was free.
Of course, yeah. Spirit Fest was always free and
Yeah.
amazing.
And now he's like so expensive to see, which I know what happened.
Really?
I mean, I want to say last time he had a show, I think it was one of those like in that living room area at Power and Light, and it was like over $100. I was like, damn it.
Well,
not his
Spirit
fault for being
Fest
awesome.
was around for many years, and it was always free. And every time it comes up in one of these talks, I'm like, why the fuck did we stop doing that?
I don't know.
So okay. So where would he have gone to high school then?
I don't know.
What's over there?
I don't know. Should we go
East, actual Kansas City East.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Anyway, how did he initially wind up in your lap, and what makes this one?
mostly
special?
because of like the people that we were hanging out with in my early high school life.
Jessica, your ride's here. Yeah.
Yep. And
The china is shaking.
ding, 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 ding. Fuck you! I'm going to the club. Aren't you 15?
Yeah. Should be asking me questions. Who do you think you are asking me questions?
Dad would be like, he needs to come. He needs. Like,
Yeah.
like you're not gonna like him.
I'm just saying.
Just giving you the heads up. I don't know. I mean, pretty much like when I hung out with Jenny, some like classic rock got more in my life, and some of the people I hung out with Waterway kind of like brought that to light with me too. Like Matt Hake, I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
And like I mean, a handful of people, doesn't matter. But like the majority of what I listened to in high school was rap, and he had. What else did he have? I can't think of the name of it right now. But he had another album not too long after this one. I mean, he was a favorite. Dr. Dre was a favorite. Tupac, Looney Coleon, 57th Street Rogue Dog Villains,
What was that last?
Nelly, Looney Coleon.
Yeah, who's that?
You would never have heard it. Probably
Okay,
heard of him, but
okay.
We really liked him.
I just remember. I can't.
If you like ask Kristen Quadman, she'd be like, "What? She would know.
I don't remember what the reason. Like I got in your car for a quick second, or I was in your room, or whatever, and I was like, and I knew I could, had been at the house when you'd been picked up or dropped off. Like I had a vague, but then I was like, Lil Troy sitting fat down. What the fuck? And you're like,
You want to be a baller? Shot caller? I don't know.
And you were like, you don't know who that is? And I was like, no, I don't know who that is. And you're like, okay, gotta go. And I was like, she is a fucking person now. She is no longer, over on Jarbo with the fucking bubble wand. Like, wow. Anyway. Dr. Dre, same year, actually 1 week.
Oh, really?
later.
That's interesting.
And I did the back because it had the.
Oh, God,
we know what
this
the
one
front
was
looks
good.
like. So this is good is an understatement. Generally speaking, when it comes to people my age, like everybody just loves to pedestal the Chronic. And I was like, the Chronic's great. And it gave us like 3, 4, maybe, for sure 3.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 or 5 really good total songs. But this, and they're all like, you're crazy. That's crazy. And I'm like,
Have they turned it on?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say every time.
Like explosive.
Every
They're all
little
so good.
I'm like, and this is the first time where I'm like really aware of the fact that at some point, I know there's a lot of technology that has come into the 1999 hip hop rap world that's not just, classic rock is just five people with an instrument. And now there's more options. But at some point, somebody's got to pick up a guitar and go, or somebody's got to, ding, 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 ding,
When they
ding,
did the
ding.
Super Bowl and he came rising out of the floor, I was like, I'm gonna melt. I'm gonna
Yeah,
die. I
yeah.
loved
I've
it.
learned
Goosebumps head to toe.
a great story. There's Scott Style. I don't remember his name. I think it's a double S. It came up in one of these conversations where somebody was like, "Did you know that?" Is it Jay-Z? Or maybe it's Puffy wrote one of the like tracks on here, and I was like, that is 1,000% not accurate. And then I googled it, and it's like, oh yeah, he absolutely wrote. And it was like, you had Eminem, Snoop, and Dre. Like, what do you need that guy to fucking anyway? But there's all kinds of things like that.
I also had a hard time not picking Snoop.
There's lots of things like that happening.
Happy.
I know he's the best. And there's a story during the recording of this where this dude is in there trying to discover that, and Dr. Dre has ordered sandwiches, and he's walking past the room where that dude is because the sandwiches have arrived.
Oh,
and as he walks past,
just spits it out.
Is right where he just happens to be, and he stops and he turns around, he comes back in, and he goes, that's it right there, and that's how we got that portion of the song.
Oh my god, it's so good. Very tragic moment at Waterway. Remember, like the weed leaf that's on the front of it.
Yeah.
Rachel her car was always a mess. The probe, she had one of those Ford probes, and we were always washing our cars because we got them for free every paycheck, and goes to clean her back window. Kneels on the fucking CD.
Oh.
Cracks. It's hers.
Right.
But it was like the one we always listened to because she had the subwoofer. She had the 12-inch subs in her trunk. So we were always cracks the damn CD. And we were all just like, gotta purchase a new one immediately.
Yeah. Plus, I gotta leave.
Yeah.
I know I'm supposed to be here till 4, but I gotta bail. Yeah. I'm not gonna say that every time I put it on, I go top to back, but
It's pretty close.
They're
Yeah, when I was listening again, I was like, I feel like there's a few that I probably like skipped plenty of times.
Yeah.
But for the most part, same with this one. There's like one on Tech Nines that's like the like Mizzy gets busy, or flip side. One of them that's like stupid and it starts out with like the sex sound.
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly.
I'm like, no,
exactly.
I'm gonna move on to Now It's On.
Exactly.
Now It's On.
That's like I think 2001. One of those. I'll skip most of those little skits.
Yeah.
I've heard them. I don't need them anymore.
They're stupid.
There's one at the doctor's office where like the girl like goes to see him, and he's busy seeing a patient, and she just goes in anyway, and he's like banging some, and it's super super hyperbolic with this, and it's like, I don't imagine, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't imagine I've ever met anybody that sounds like that when they fuck. Like, that's
and also,
crazy.
Like, cool. If I want that, like, I'll turn on a porno.
Right,
like,
exactly.
I don't need to hear it.
Yeah, like,
I'm here for the music.
Making me turn my shit down in traffic, man. Like, come on.
I was like at Woodside working out, when I was like listening to mine, making sure that I felt good about my picks, and that one came on, and I was just like, skip.
Yeah.
Can anyone else hear
right?
this?
Exactly. But it is, there's so many good features, and the way it ends, I think the second to last track is everywhere we go. Bang, 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 bang.
Kristen and I used to do bang, bang, chicka, bang.
Nice.
Again, Kristen and I were
and then the closing track is like a real pretty sad one, right?
Yeah.
With a female.
Mary J.
Yeah, Mary J. But like they did so much.
Yeah, it's 22 songs. Yeah.
Well, okay, so 20 songs, and I mean, really, at pick your favorite 10 or 11 or 12. It could have been a record there.
Yeah.
But they went all the way to 20 and then close it with those two, and it's like, Jesus Christ. That, Man, impressive. So
God, I do love it.
anybody that wants to say that Chronic's the better record is
I agree, and I know that like this was more my time in high school, and Chronic was a little bit before. But I've
yeah.
listened to both, and I love this one. I mean, like when you're talking about memories, that's very much what I based mine on. Because when you were like, "Wow, you just have this whole perimeter of all the years of your life, pick some albums," and
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm gonna make them like correlating with like my high school memories into my college
Yeah.
memories into my 20s
I
into
love
my
it.
30s, and then the Taylor Swift that I picked is like, sorry, is like more now."
No, and that's fine.
I didn't know. I didn't mean.
It's okay.
mean
I do, you know,
I didn't mean to ruin the secrets.
I'd love to always have it go perfectly and everything's always a surprise, but like fucking 10 people watch, you know.
Well, and
so-
also you put the albums on like
Yes, of
they'll
course,
see
of
it,
course.
so,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
So you did something like a little bit ago where I don't remember what you did this with your hands and as part of a
What?
you were telling a story and you're like so and so, and I was like maybe it was during the Columbia portion.
Okay.
But I've seen you do this.
Oh,
like,
I know what you I know where you're going with that.
where am I going with it?
Sleepyhead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Passion Pit Manners, 2009. First,
You had to like this one.
I had not any of these tracks that I had heard previously. I'm 99.9% sure were in your home.
Yeah.
And so I did enjoy listening to it as a.
So like Sleepyhead's the only one that like you knew off the top of your head?
I never heard of these guys before you introduced me to them.
Really?
And I've also never met anybody still to this day that has brought them up.
Well, you know who would? Number 16.
Joe Strobel?
Yep.
Okay. Trust the.
I mean, have faith in the mix.
Have faith in the mix.
You always have faith in Joe. Joe always has the right songs. He's the one who introduced me to Passion Pit, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It was very much like back when I was dating Travis.
Okay.
And I hung out with them all the time. We had lots of like dance parties.
Nice. And who the fuck are these guys?
I don't know. They're Passion Pit. I don't know. I like them. I'm not here with the backstory.
No, I know.
That's
I know.
for you to research. I like this music. Turn it on.
So dance parties, hanging with that crew, and so the album itself is kind of tied to that portion of your memory. And
Yeah,
that
so
time
like
in
when
your
I was
life.
living with Lindsay over at 83rd and Oak.
I wondered just the other day if it was Oak or Maine.
It was Oak, right
Okay.
across from that park, which is
And
probably why
is
we got
she-
robbed twice.
Is she? Who are the three L's?
Lindsay, and Laura. So Lindsay Summers is the only one you know. Lindsay Guthrie was also from Columbia. Her name is now Lindsay Zalaski. She has 4 kids, and I think she's in St. Louis.
Okay.
And then Laura Scherson, you never have met her either. I think she has 3 kids, and she's married to Jay, and I think they live out in like western Kansas.
And they were 50% of the house
Mm-hmm.
with the kitchens and.
Yeah, I remember like, I don't know if you ever would have met Pat O'Brien through any St. Peter's people, but he lived at Porto's. He was one of the ones that lived
Okay.
at Porto's. And I feel like one time it was like, somebody was like, I cannot keep your roommates straight. Like Lindsay, Laura, and Pat O'Brien was like, I just call them all Leslie.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're on 83rd and Oak with
8329 Oak.
Okay.
Living with Lindsay. Lindsay moved back from Columbia, or moved back. She grew up in Columbia. She moved here, bought a house. I moved in with her. Yeah, hung out with like a lot of like Travis, Joe, Mike Morrison, Brian Liston. Travis and Joe. Travis bought a house right around the same time, and he was in Western Hills at like 90th and 91st. And Warnell, Morgan and Danny.
How are they these days? Okay.
Not. Yep.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes I can't.
We don't.
Sometimes the words come out. I'm like, well, don't do that right now.
No, it's okay. She and I don't chat very often. So I don't know a lot.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of like a post-college figuring out like living on your own. I've moved out of the lanes, living in my friend's house.
Yeah.
In a great relationship, and just like have a great group of friends that we are
I
just
always
like
think of-
literally always having a blast.
Yeah. I always think of moving you out of there with Grant Luck and his truck.
That's right.
When's the last time you had any?
I wished Grant happy birthday last month.
Okay. And did he reply? He did?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm not ignoring it. I was just trying to find a picture to show you of how this, how the comedy is of what this like time of life was like. Because I think we were all just like old enough to be on our feet, out of college, like
Yeah.
being who we are, like in our adult world, but still young enough to be like nobody had kids yet and like carefree. And so, yeah, it's
This
just,
is the time of life where I oftentimes bring this up in these conversations where your whole, like my kids, you're that whole time that you're a kid, you're just like, God, come on! I
Yeah.
can't wait to be an adult. And
Yeah.
then you become an adult, and you're like,
like,
"Is
what
this
the hell was
this
I
is
so
it?
hurried for?
Holy shit! I can't believe. Why didn't anybody tell me?"
I agree.
But for a minute, you live in that where you're like, "Fuck it, let's just have fun, be responsible." But we're not like
Yeah.
we're
We all had jobs.
hanging.
We all paid rent or mortgage. I mean, people like Lindsay and Travis paid a mortgage. People like Jessica and Joe paid rent to the friend that owned the house. But yeah, it was like a great time. And, you know, after first time of moving out being Columbia for MU and then moving back in to finish at UMKC, it like felt very different of like I'm still in my city. I still like, you know, it was like a really different feel of the moving out. It's not like the college town life. It's like I'm here and I'm a grown up, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you technically are, but you aren't.
right.
Like so. But it was a really fun time.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
that's when we would still go on our float trips and stuff.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where Have Faith in the Mix came from.
Okay.
When people would try to tell Joe
Nice.
to like switch the song, and he's like, "I have been working on this for months."
Yeah.
And you pass me a beer and you shut up. And I would be like, "You can have a beer when you put on more sunscreen and drink a water."
Right? No
They
shit.
used to call me mom because I
Oh,
was like,
hey, everybody, yes,
Yeah.
it's where. And,
actually they called me mama. So
and then eventually, cruise director, right? Eventually, you get elevated to that title within Johnson Familia, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's a promotion. Just
Yeah,
doesn't
obviously.
come with more money than you were making as mama because
No,
you weren't
same,
making
same
any
salary.
money. Yeah,
Same salary. Same salary. Like, and that's back when they lived in Conrad's, and it's like none of them had a car. The 5 of those boys living together. Like, Brian sliced his finger open one time, and I had to take him to the hospital.
jeez.
And then, like, Tim comes, like, staggering out to the door, and he's like, "Mama, we got a pool going on how many stitches this is going to be. Do you want in on this shit?" Like, Brian's just walked, like, bleeding. He, like, showing me his bone. I'm like, "Get up!" I'm like,
Yeah.
drive
Wow.
him to the hospital.
Wow.
Like, no, I don't want in on your pool on the stitches for Brian's finger. I just don't want to see his bone, and I don't want him to bleed in my car.
Yeah. Well, it was fun to listen to, and there's not just what is it,
Sleepyhead.
not
But,
just
like,
that. There's a couple other tracks that always make me giggle and think of,
you
dance.
have to have probably heard, like, Little Secrets and Moth's Wings.
Yeah. Oh
before.
yeah.
Maybe The Reeling.
Because of you.
Well,
And-
yeah, To Kingdom Come, I bet you've heard that one. And Let Your Love Grow Tall is so good.
Nice.
I don't know. They're just very, like, uplifting. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And many people maybe wouldn't see them that way, but that's how I see it.
Well, so then a big leap because that was 2009 all the way to 2022 with Midnights. And, I think I just sort of like this, I'm dialed into what's happening in yours and Megan's life, and then I'm not. One of these moments where I don't think I knew what level of Swiftydom you had gotten yourself to. And I'm like, where in the fuck did this come from? How long has this been the case?
Always have had stuff of hers that I've loved, but never been, like, diehard. So I'm not going to pretend to be, like, a Stephanie Hardiker who, like...
You can grab that if you need to reference.
Why?
Tracks.
Because she's so amazing?
She is so.
Did you have this already?
What?
Did you already have this?
I have 2. I have another one with a different. She's laying down on her.
Oh, she's so cute. Steph
I
got me a new
know.
one the other day, too. For my birthday.
New
She
one
got
what?
me 1989.
Really?
It's one of her albums, yeah.
No, I on vinyl.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
I know. So fun.
God, I have not seen that picture. Holy shit.
She's stunning.
Yeah.
She's stunning.
Yeah.
Like, how are her and Travis's babies gonna look? Because
Somebody
my God.
Sent me.
So they become a clock.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that.
Somebody sent me an interview of her yesterday, and it's really good content. She was like, "This is probably my favorite interview with her," and it's really good stuff. And I was like,
Which one was it? Do I know? You should send me those things when you get them.
"Okay, I will." It's really good. It's one-on-one. I think the dude has got a British accent. She talks about a lot of shit. And anyway, I was like, not really able to pay attention to the first couple of minutes because I was like, I don't think I've ever heard her speak before, and I really like her voice.
Yeah.
I mean, I like this version of her voice, but
Right.
now, anyway.
She's
So
like eloquent and like well spoken. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
and real
She's really smart.
nice to look at.
She is very nice to look at. Like even for someone who doesn't like girls, like
Right.
she is
Yeah.
stunning.
So I interrupted because you were like, I've always kind of, I'm no Stephanie, but I've always kind of.
always been like definitely into her, but this album I just loved. And then I feel like it was like, you're just like climbing this little hill of like her and like, ooh, this one's a good catchy one. And then I found this album and it's just like whoosh, like deep dive, like so many, going back and listening to like the ones that I loved, getting further into the albums and finding ones that I didn't know I loved, some that I've never even heard. I mean, I had Stephanie sit there the other night and I was like, take off the ones that aren't her recording to make sure that I'm not giving any credit to what's his name.
Yeah.
Put the right ones on there.
Scooter Braun.
Yes.
And
And she was
whoever
like-
the other guy is.
And if there was any that I didn't have the full album, she was like, no, delete. And now we're getting this one and make sure. And then she was like, and then here's my master album. She's like, it's called Taylor and it's like 9 hours.
Wow.
So she shared that one with me.
Okay.
Yeah. She knows everything.
Cool. The first gal that did Becoming a Swiftie, we just ran through all 10, and obviously this is the last one. And I was like, so, a lot of interesting to look at the different, like, okay, here's the time where I was not even aware of her at all. And then I kind of know who she is, and she's still making records. And then all the way to Lover was when I was like, okay, I got to fucking check this shit out, because
Yeah.
she is. And then
And there's a few on Lover that really like started me like really being
You Need to
into
Calm
her.
Down, Cornelia Street, are two of my. Anyway, and then by the time we get news that this is coming out, she is fucking like a global.
Oh yeah.
You can't not turn. Anyway, so it was interesting to work through them chronologically, and then we finished with this one. And so she's had praise for 1 through 9, but we hit this, and she's like, I think this is an elite album. And I was like, fucking really? And she was like, yeah. And then the next gal that did a Swiftie, she was like, 1,000%. This is an elite.
So maybe it wasn't just coincidental that like that one really struck me, but it's so good.
It is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, and so
Sam will say, "What's the best Taylor Swift song and why is it Maroon?"
So and I'm in this little interview. She's talking about how it goes when you put out record number 2 and people are comparing it to record 1 and so on and so forth. And I mentioned that because I'm sort of guilty of a version of that and saying like, what in the world is next? And I know it'll just be whatever it is when it comes out, but
Yeah.
there was so much hype to it.
Yeah.
And then it comes out and it's amazing, and the best of the best are calling it,
Yeah.
top, like
So good.
no pressure for record number 11. Jesus.
Yeah. I also just think like her poetry or writing or whatever is very impressive. Like the difference in a lot of the things she writes is impressive. The eloquence that she has when she's being interviewed is impressive. For kids like Adeline, like growing up with somebody that's like so unapologetic for like, I'm going to share my feelings and I'm going to say what it is and I'm going to expect that like you're kind to everybody, and like it just like
Yeah.
they're so lucky to be growing up with somebody who's such an idol
I know.
that is such a good person.
Yeah. We were, we've almost always, like, I'll put something on in the car, but, sometimes they'll ask for stuff, and sometimes I'll be like, do you have any requests? And I'll put that, whatever. And, not too many months ago, he was like, why are we always listening to Taylor Swift? Because I think they get it in their mom's car, too.
Yeah.
And then the other day we're backing out, and he's like, I have a request. Or maybe I asked, and he was like, I got something. I was like, what's up? And he's like, Lil T Swift. And I was like,
Yep.
how interesting. Not only, not to discount what it means for my daughter,
Yeah.
but for her younger brother to say, there's
I'm
a
choosing
female role model that is commands respect
Yeah.
and admiration and
And I feel like you probably, and this is like so like unimportant, but like I feel like even long before I like was so invested, like, and I know it's just like a stupid post on Facebook, but like at one point I posted this and it's just like her walking on stage, and the clip is "Life is too short to pretend like you don't like catchy Taylor Swift songs," and then like every time it pops up each year, I'm like, still true, still true.
right. Yeah.
Like, why are you trying to be like,
Did you
too cool for
see
that?
the chef that commented yesterday on my post? He was like, "Come on, man."
For what?
The post where I was
About
like,
calling all Swifties?
"Yeah,"
Why does he care?
and I was like, "Does that sounds like you want to come tell me about your favorites?" He's like, "I couldn't tell you one song." I was like, "Not your Taylor Swift favorite, your fucking favorites.
Yeah.
Clearly, you have an opinion. Come fucking."
And also, guess what? Grumptastic. Taylor Swift wouldn't want you to act like that.
Right.
Taylor
Exactly.
Swift would want you to accept
Exactly.
everything that
Right.
people want to do.
Right.
If Blair wants to give Swifties a moment, then let him do it.
I mean, they're fucking out there.
Yeah.
Just and
There's a like it's from one of her Eras Tour shows. I don't know which stadium she's at, but it's like something where she sings and like drops her arms and all of like the beams of light like shoot straight up like for impact, but like the caption on it is like, aliens would think she is our leader.
I've seen that one. I've seen that one.
I'm like, oh, she kind of is.
These two girls so far, both times, like I'm like, oh yeah, you're little represent. Oh, you're double representing, and then you're quadruple representing. They just are adorned with merch,
Yeah, I don't have merch.
Well, but
Yeah.
it's
I have my
deep.
bracelet, and then I had the girls' bracelets made.
Right. Anyway, it's a fun phenomenon, and like when
I was in Chicago visiting Megan and Jack, like they always, when I'm driving there, I was like, Aunt Jess will be fun, and she'll like Megan will ride with Mom and Jack and the baby, and they're like, can we ride with Aunt Jess?
nice.
I ride in the van, and I heard her being, Lila being like, Dad, she says like, damn, in one of her songs, like, is it okay that like I sing along and like say that word? This is just Lila and Jack in the living room that I overhear. And Jack's like, well, yeah. He's like, I mean, the way she uses it in her song is she's like making a good point. As long as you're like not taking that word anywhere else and using it, I don't really care. And I was just like, good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
I finally, forever, I was like, these are bad words. And then I was like, you know what? There isn't really any bad words. Just these are not appropriate to use outside of the house.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole.
Yeah.
Sorry, I made it a whole big thing for 6 years. Forget all that.
Steph's daughter accidentally dropped the F-bomb in a presentation at school. But she wasn't even like worried about being in trouble. She was like embarrassed.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Like Steph's like, I don't care.
Right. Nice. Very nice. So Led Zeppelin Essentials playlist also in the mix. This took me by surprise because it's pretty I don't have a printout of it, but it's pretty comprehensive. Like there's
That's why I went with it, because
2.5
it's so hard to narrow it down.
hours worth of there was a couple there's a couple songs that I was like, if this song isn't on there, then this is a dog shit.
And they were all there.
Yeah, every single time. But I think I was mostly surprised that I didn't realize that you were such a fan.
Love.
That is what
I mean, almost every single one on here. Cashmere's okay.
Well, you've probably heard it.
Yeah.
1,000 times.
Same with Stairway to Heaven, like I told you.
Right.
Like
Stairmaster to Heaven.
God. I'll listen to this whole one when I'm on the Stairmaster, and I'm like, I hate this song and the Stair Stepper more now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I did that to myself. But like Dire Maker, Black Dog, Good Times, Bad Times, Ramble On, Immigrant Song, All My Love, When the Levee Breaks, Whole Lot of Love. Yeah, I mean, this is why I had to pick this one, because
there's
Fool in the Rain.
Yeah, like All of My Love. I can't not immediately hear that little synthesizer solo, which is just gorgeous. You say Levy, it
Yeah.
like that. Nobody else was making that fucking sound.
Yeah.
And they were doing all sorts of weird shit, like hanging fucking microphones from the undersides of staircases.
And it's not even just that like bass that you're talking about too. It's the guitar comes in and it's just like, nah.
Yeah.
I was like
and
on the rowing machine and I was like, fuck yeah, when the levee breaks.
I'm taking us to Europe, guys. Get on, Yeah, man, that's like unfortunately a thing that I was every once in a while still. But in high school, I was like made fun of by my friends a
For
lot
liking Led
for
Zeppelin?
just like that's all you listen, because I listened to the shit out of
Okay.
almost all their
Well, I
albums.
couldn't remember, and I was like, he's either gonna love this one or hate it. But
Oh
I was like,
yeah,
I can't leave it out because there was a lot of like different, and I will say Jenny and like our like hippie era
yeah.
of our lives definitely like
Remember that
introduced
crew you
me.
used to come over to Matt's with, just to have a place to smoke open? And
Was it
then
probably Jenny, Morgan, Chloe,
Chloe was the
tiny
small.
one? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
She weighed like 76 pounds, soaking
Soaking
wet.
wet. Yeah.
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 But sorry, I interrupted.
No, no, I was just saying like probably a lot of like the classic rock that I really got into was in high school, and she probably had a big factor in that. And so did some of the people that we hung out with that weren't like some of the center people, and some of the people that I got a
You're
lot of my.
not gonna like him.
He has to come to the door to get you, and I was just like, but then you can't tell me that I can't go.
Right, right.
Once you meet him,
Right, right.
he can come to the door as long as we have a deal.
Yeah.
But Led Zeppelin definitely was, definitely a
Nice. I
shining
love
star.
that was. I didn't. It's
I
weird.
used to borrow Dad's red truck, and I just like cruised around in my best white girl life, just rocking out to Led Zeppelin
That's a
and some
fucking
Leonard Skinner
sled
and
of a vehicle to
Yeah.
drive. Like, this is not going to fit in the lane markings. This is fucking spilling
which
out.
it really wasn't that wide.
No,
but it just
right.
seemed
Yeah,
like a massive
exactly.
car.
Well, I love that they had a spot in your heart then, and has
Mm-hmm.
stayed there. Like, I didn't know that, and that's really weird because I feel like I've had some kind of awareness of your music, what you've been into for a good while. But
Yeah.
anyway, great list. I love it. Thank you. And so those goofy questions that I was
Okay.
telling you about.
Ready. Hit me.
You get to have lunch with anyone, dead or alive, your choice. Who and why?
Oh my God. I got asked this on an interview a couple months ago, which
For
I
real?
thought was the weirdest question.
Well, that's kind of what this is, but you don't.
No, but like
there's
an
no
interview-
job for
yeah,
it.
Yeah. Interview for a job. I mean, Dad. Can I pick him?
Yes. Fuck. It didn't even occur. What did you answer during the interview?
Tina Turner.
Oh, that's also a good answer.
Also, one that I was sad that yesterday I was like, I didn't put Tina Turner on my
Oh.
list, but then I was like, you know what? It's
I
gonna
bet
be
that
fine.
they would have really enjoyed each other's company.
Well, who wouldn't enjoy Dad and who wouldn't enjoy Tina Turner?
Precisely.
Mom took me to the musical for my birthday at the music hall.
Okay.
It was like a musical about her life with her music in it. It was so good.
Wow.
Mom was like, I wanted to do something different for your birthday. Would you want to go see the Tina Turner musical? I was like, hell yes. Yes,
nice. That's not the same as Taco Villa, but it's
please. Well, not going to say I'm the favorite, but how do you say you're the favorite without saying you're the favorite? You just show your Tina Turner playbill.
Tomorrow you wake up and you discover that you have inherited $85 million. Hell yes. What is first? Now, like your affairs, your debt is, if you have debt, is gone. Your shit is paid for, and
I still have the 85 million
So,
after
like,
my...
what am I? You
So-
gotta look over here and be like, what am I doing?
I'm going to pay off the rest of Mom's mortgage.
Okay,
Um,
she's got to be getting close, right? 1991. Did she refi at some point?
Probably refied at some point. I don't know. I don't know what hers actually is. I
Right.
just like anything I could be able to do to help, I would like to. But
Right. Yeah.
I'm clearly not rolling in the millions. If I have all this money, I mean, I am probably going to have a hard time deciding between like setting aside money for yours and Megan's children between like, can I contribute to their college fund, or do I want to, knowing that like their parents are going to figure that out, do I want to set aside travel funds for them so that they do it sooner than I did?
Cool, right?
Because they need to, because
Yeah.
I wish I'd done it younger.
Yeah.
And
Houses. Are you a person that would like have a? I have a place in Milan, but I really only spend 2 months a year there.
no,
or
I
a
don't
place
really
in
have a
LA,
house.
or
I don't fucking want a place in LA.
I don't fucking know.
No, I don't want a place in
Miami?
Milan or LA. I don't want a place in Miami. If I'm gonna have a place, I want it to be like Santorini, or I want it to be in Bologna, Italy. I want to be at somewhere like south of France.
I mean, okay, so you do have and you would, and you
Maybe.
would have a place here.
I would definitely have a place here.
Yeah.
It would either be on the lake or it would have a pool, and everyone could come over and swim all the time.
Lake.
A lot of water.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I can afford it now because
Yeah.
you just gave me $85
Right.
million.
Okay.
And I have a
So
boat.
what were they again? France.
Well,
Well,
I've not been to the south of France. It looks very beautiful, and there's
okay,
places I'd like
okay.
to see there. Love Santorini.
So you would have no qualms of yeah. I this is my home, and it's most of the year it's just empty because I only want it to be there for when I go there.
Oh no, I'll probably Airbnb it out or do something
Okay,
cute
okay,
on the
okay.
side. I mean, like I got to get it established first, but like, why
Right.
wouldn't other people be able to enjoy it if
True,
I'm
true,
not living
true.
in it?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
like, do my friends need to like? Do you need to like be able to take your kids on a trip? But like, that's a lot of money. Well, hey,
Okay.
here's a free place to stay.
Yeah.
Go stay
All
at my
right.
house in the south of France.
Yeah.
Mostly travel. It's really going to be a lot travel. I'd probably get a Cadillac
Really? Why?
because I've always wanted one.
Okay.
Pretty,
Okay.
pretty, and they're shiny.
Yeah, I've when I was doing case management in KCK, one of the guys that I trained with had a real nice Cadillac, and I rode in it for a couple times. And while we were on one of these things, he was like, "Oh, that's all I've ever owned. That's all I'll ever own." I was like, "Cadillacs?"
I mean, I
And he goes,
debated when I was
and
shopping, but
he
they're
goes. I mean,
expensive.
they're nice cars, and I was like, "They are." I mean, I just the meaning of you know this is to me an interesting example of like when we take a word in our language and now it still means this thing that it has always meant, but now it also means this thing over here, and it becomes a trend. Awesome. It used to mean like you would put you in awe.
Yeah.
This is a terrible example, but then it became or cool. Cool had to do with the temperature,
Yeah.
and now it's like
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
neat.
Yeah.
That thing is neat.
Yeah.
And so Cadillac, it's the Cadillac of blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I,
I get what you're
I
saying.
never heard that and took it to mean that it's like a real quality vehicle. I just thought that's what wealthy folks buy.
No, they're really pretty. I've always really liked them. And I actually talked to Matt Ralston when I was like thinking about getting a new car when I got my Camry that I have now. And just because he knows a lot about cars, and he was like, I don't recommend it because he was like, even if you feel like you can do like a decent down payment and like take care of the car payments, he's like, you have to take it pretty much to the dealership anytime anything goes wrong. So I wasn't in a financial place for that then.
Well,
I
if
would also
you
probably buy mom a new car.
nice,
Also do that because like she's great with her CRV, but like she
yeah.
needs like a backup camera and some cuter features.
Well, just if you do that for yourself, please don't use the phrase "side did a thing" in real life or on any of your platforms. That's how I. That's what I.
I mean, it's
that's
not
how I
doing
got.
a thing. It's so I bought a car.
I
Or,
know.
Like, also, like, I mean,
But people, I see it all the time. I'm like,
yeah.
cool, good job.
Where is it for you? Like, so I did a thing and Sunday Fun Day.
Right in that fucking wheelhouse.
Shove 'em both off the
and best life, living my best life. Shut the fuck up.
Sometimes I am living my best life when I travel.
I know.
went 18 places last year, and 16 of them were new.
I mean, I just.
That's living my best life.
What's the other one? Living the dream. Fucking stab yourself. Why?
People still say that?
Yes, I was hearing it in 2000. Almost a quarter of some people living the
I'm
dream.
probably like
Shut
guilty
the
of
fuck
it
up.
coming out of my mouth. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Anyway, so a very small pivot. It's weird to go from that question to this one because it's easy.
All I hear is friends. Pivot.
It's easy for there to be some overlap. But let's say you have a legit bucket list, and for a nice round number, it's got 10 things.
Okay.
But and those things maybe they fluctuate as time. But your top 3 is like indisputable. These are my top 3. You get given all the resources to do your top 3. What's happening first?
I mean, it's going to sound like an actual crazy person, but I'm like literally buying some sort of like compound land where everyone that I love, friends and family, has their own space. We have like a main house that's a common place that we can gather. We've got a pool, we've got activities, but like it's a master place that we can all be together when we want to.
Nice.
Everyone's expenses are covered.
Ooh.
We can swim.
I love that.
You can do that.
Not
but like,
crazy.
You're together, but you can also be separate. And you can have like, you might get like a little bit bigger one because you have children.
Right.
I will probably get a really big one because it's mine. Like, I'm not gonna not have like a sauna for us to use and like
Right.
nice things.
Right. I love that.
Um, more travel.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have a handful. Like I said, south of France. I'd love
Sure.
to see Portugal's up there. I'd like to see Prague.
I've like read.
Can those live in the one little bucket of travel more places?
Yeah. I've read the occasional article and seen the occasional bit of footage, and I know it's not the same, but so people have gone to Antarctica to like figure shit out, to like learn about the place.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, folks go there because like they wanna, and I'm like, holy fuck! Like there's a sea of everything is just ice chunks, and like the level of things that could go wrong. And then when you get there, it's not really even that much better than being on the boat. I'm like, that is fucking insane. Do you have any
No.
weird remote?
No.
Like,
I don't even really want to go anywhere
jungle.
cold.
Okay.
I want to go where there's beaches
Nice.
and good food. And
What do you call the rainforests? Or just fucking.
that sounds like lots of bugs and
Oh,
critters.
and all the other kinds of animals too.
Yeah.
Like, those you see reels like that where they're in the fucking
Yeah.
car watching a tiger.
Yeah,
Eat
like
it.
a bird just shit on me, a snake slithered
Yeah.
by, a spider's building a web, and this tiger might kill me.
Yeah.
Like, or a tiger, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you.
You are given the ability to visit your past self at any age. What age are you choosing, and what are you saying?
I would love to visit my high school self and encourage her to like continue with like the dancing or like listen to later Elaine and continue to apply myself more in like the math realm because I did love it and I was really good with it. Like I probably could have like done something with it. I think that's the best because I feel like, I made plenty of dumb decisions, but I also feel like I turned out okay for the most part.
I don't think you applying yourself, Smokey. Right?
Yeah, pretty
Big
much.
worm.
Pretty much. I mean, maybe that's cheesy to say, but
Nah, not at all.
yeah, I don't know though, but because I still really liked my life, I've still
Yeah.
really liked everything that I've done.
Living your best life.
I mean, you said it, not me.
Okay, last but not least, please complete this sentence. The world would immediately become a better place in which to live, if only.
Taylor Swift was president.
Amen. Fucking episode 100 in the books on that note right there. Holy shit.
I mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's just say she's the one for sure loop she's got to cross to get to said presidency is she's got to log an evening at 441, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, right. She has
Yeah.
to come on the podcast.
She doesn't have to do that,
Oh.
but she does have to spend an evening here
Oh, okay.
while I'm also here.
Perfect.
Yes,
Okay.
and then go be president.
Well, you might have a little competition.
I know,
in
but
a
like
stellar stud named Travis Kelce.
podcast buddies, perhaps maybe they gives me a
Yeah, he's not sharing that. He's not sharing that diamond.
a guy can dream, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can take him out on a date in the meantime. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
They both Travis Taylor get hall passes, and the Johnson siblings
I'm sure that's
step
exactly what they're thinking.
in for a fresh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Mix it up, man.
Yeah.
Mix it up, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was a blast for me. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Absolutely.
And I can't really imagine who I would rather spend episode 100 with. So
Yes. I just love the I want to be episode 100. I
I
want
want
to
to walk with Matt.
And you guess who got to walk with Matt?
And guess who got to be episode 100?
Yep.
See
Yep.
ya.
Oh, fun.